Hello, students. Today we will discuss session 2 of the essay on national cultures by Franz Fanon. We will do an introduction to the essay today. The essay on national cultures is the fourth essay in the book titled The Wretched of the Earth. The Wretched of the Earth is a seminal work which helps us to understand decolonization, political violence, and power structures. This book is regarded as the handbook for the Black Revolution. The book has a preface by 20th century French philosopher Jean Paul Sartre. It was published in the year 1961. The book is written from the perspective of a colonized individual. The book discusses the impact of colonialism, the process of decolonization, and a prophetic analysis of the independence movements around the world. Fanon suggests that colonialism is a pre planned agenda and it is not accidental. The book Wretched of the Earth is divided into 5 chapters. The first chapter is titled On Violence. It deals with colonization, power structure, and divisions in the society. Fanon writes that the colonial situation comprises of the settler, the native, and the native intellectual. The world of the colonizer and the colonized is separated by barracks and police stations. Colonizers are wealthy and powerful, whereas the colonized are poor. They live in hunger and poverty. Fanon calls this world of binary division a Manichaean world. The settler teaches the native that they are only animals. This lesson is driven home through violence. When the native realizes the truth, they are bound to rebel against the settler. In Fanon's opinion, decolonization is not possible through a gentleman's agreement, but only through violence. The second part of this chapter is titled Effects of Colonization in the International Context. Here, Fanon describes the political relationship between the newly independent nations and the former colonial powers. He discusses the distribution of wealth. He points out how the colonizing nations have enriched themselves at the expense of the colonies. The second chapter is titled Spontaneity, Its Strength and Weakness. In this chapter, Fanon argues that the peasants in the countryside are more anti colonial than leaders of the nationalist parties in the city. Fanon names these two sections of society as lumpen proletariat and urban proletariat. Lumpen proletariats are the peasant masses, and the urban proletariats are administrators. Colonial powers take advantage of this binary situation and they fuel up flames of discontent between the urban and lumpen proletariats. Chapter 3 is titled The Pitfalls of National Consciousness. Fanon argues that national consciousness is not the coordinated crystallization of the innermost aspirations of the people. Rather, it is a crude, empty, and fragile shell. There are cracks in the national consciousness which degrades the nation into a state, tribe, and ethnic group. Fanon writes that a class he calls as the national bourgeoisie are responsible for this. They are doctors, lawyers, and administrators. Fanon shows how self interested these people are. He argues that this class must not be allowed to dominate the government of the newly independent nation. If they do dominate, they will maintain old structures of exploitation and oppression. Fanon's solution for this is decentralization. The fourth chapter is titled On National Culture, and this is the chapter we will be reading. In this chapter, Fanon describes what colonialism does to people's sense of past and culture. Fanon notes the psychological benefits of recovering people's glorious past. However, in Fanon's opinion, rebuilding a nation politically and economically is more important than building a national culture. The struggle to create a nation will give rise to national culture, in his opinion. In the last chapter, Fanon presents case studies of people affected by colonialism. The title of the chapter is Colonial War and Mental Disorders. Fanon concludes the book by rousing a call to action. He appeals to the brothers and comrades to turn away from Europe. Fanon is of the opinion that the liberation of the colonized people will benefit all the humanity. So, students, we have seen an overview of the book The Wretched of the Earth. In the next session, we will be discussing on national cultures, the essay prescribed to you in detail. Thank you.